teams that they're playing are conference champions.
Wants to throw for Rice. Touchdown 49.
If somebody can afford to pay me $120 million, how much money you think they got?
Good Saturday morning, everybody. What's going on, everyone? We're back live here on Sports Chat. We got John, we got Ron, right? How much money they got, John? How much money they got?
Listen. Write me $120 million check. You can do that. You got some bread, brother.
Well, it's been a while since we've been on. What's been going on with you, John? What's happening in your neck of the woods?
Oh, nothing. I mean, the Tigers delayed their usual playing out the string by about a couple of weeks, but
they got into June this year.
They made it. I won't even say into June. Toward the end of May, before the clock struck 12 and they turned back into a pumpkin, and everything just resembles. So now is another year where we get good pitching, but can't score runs to save our. I don't know what it's gonna take to get some bats in that lineup to be able to score some runs. So, it's just another year of playing out the string in baseball here in Detroit and waiting for NFL and college football. That's basically what we've been reduced to at this point. So,
what's going on? What's going on down in hot Atlanta? I see you said you're going to the pool, so it must be hot already. 11 o'clock. You going swimming this early?
Yeah. They have the 4th of July thing down here in the neighborhood today, so they got food, all that. So, I pay my HOA fees, so I ain't trying not to get the food.
If you're paying the fee, you might as well make use of it. That's for sure.
I'm sick of them darn HOA fees. They don't give us nothing for it. I don't know why.
Yeah, this is one of the perks, if you want to call it that.
Perks. They don't shovel our snow. I'm like, what are we paying? What am I paying this HOA fee for? For what? Really? So, but that's
not a problem around here, John.
Yeah. Did it get you on the golf course too cheaper?
No. That's
a private club.
Yeah, it's you have to pay for your whatever membership package you want. You can get the low package where you can just you got to pay for the cart, or you can go all in and get the cart. You can go on the driving range and the putting green, like all of that. So it really depends on what your level of willingness is to pay.
John, you living in like a little cul-de-sac now? Where you live?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I live in Clinton Township in a subdivision called Brookstone. It's basically a cul-de-sac. Yeah.
Right. Okay, well you better let them know.
It's all good.
You know what I mean? All right, well, fellas, it's been a while. Lots been going on since we last met here on Sports Chat, Sports Wise. First, we want to deal with let's deal with all the Caitlin Clark and the Angel Reese joining the WNBA, and this the problem is they're playing the same game, just being recognized now, mainly because Caitlin and Angel. But I mean, it's basketball, bit hard screens, getting knocked down. So what's your take on that? John, you can go first.
Well, I think that they're trying to, and I don't necessarily, Magic and Bird kind of happened organically. You know what I'm saying? It was a rivalry in college that spilled over into the NBA. And one of the ESPN ladies, I think it's I can't remember. I can't pronounce her name. So, but she made that point that the WNBA is basically at the same point that the NBA was when Magic and Bird sort of catapulted took it off the tape delay and into where it became. And I think that to a smaller degree, I don't necessarily think that the WNBA will ever have as high a trajectory as the NBA will. But relative to their particular sport, I think this is an inflection point for them as well. I think that you know, you what you need is a savior and a villain, and it seems that they are fitting those roles. Now, sometimes you don't know who the savior is and who the villain is, but you know, I think listen, when you have Sports Center leading their show with the WNBA, they're on the right track. So I mean, and I hope it grows their game, because you know, you got women who have put their blood, sweat, and tears into this game without the recognition that these two are generating. But a rising tide will lift all boats, and so I'm sure more people know others that because of this.
I think that's part of the problem. What you just mentioned is that you know, people take this to heart. I've been doing this for 5 to 10 years, and then here comes Big Hot Shot, and we're gonna let them know what it's all about. And so what happens is, nowadays we get so hyped and fixed on one individual or one subject, and we forget all about the history and just, you know, build that one person up, and we don't think practical. We get all crazy. There's nothing new going on than ever before. It's just getting more attention.
Yeah, I think it's you know, John hit on some points. You know, the rising tide will benefit all. I think they all should, you know, recognize, and I think the media plays a role in hyping it up more so than even the players at the end of the day. Because I listen to their interviews intently after their games, and you know, the girls don't seem to have any malice towards each other or anything like that. But the media wants to create that monster. It's all about marketing and promotion. But I like where the game is going. I think it's good that, you know, they're being rewarded. And ultimately, you know, we saw with some of the attendance numbers, and you're seeing that around the league. You know, the more people that show up, more eyeballs that are watching, more money that they all have the opportunity to make. And if it's a Caitlin Clark who makes it happen, or Angel Reese, or a combination of the two, it's only good for the game overall.
Yeah, but I mean, and I think sometimes you got to be careful. You got to be careful, like it or not. And I understand some of the other players' issue with the coverage that Caitlin Clark is generating, and you know, we've been here all this time, and da 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 da. But how many more people know who A'ja Wilson is because of the exposure that Caitlin Clark has brought to the game? How many more people know who Chelsea Gray, or you know what I'm saying? And so you got to be careful when you try to down. She's the goose that laid the golden egg, and you know, you got to run with it, because it's only going to bring more exposure to a lot of other players who may be just as talented as she is, but may not have had the recognition. And so what you got to understand is that the greater the recognition, the greater the television ratings and the revenue, the greater the paychecks. So people that are criticizing her, y'all need to shut up, because this girl is
ride the wave.
She's riding. Get on the wave. Get on the wave.
Yes.
You know,
I used to be able to go to WNBA games for $1.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now,
seriously. And now I'm looking at sold out arenas, and I'm looking at television ratings that are skyrocketing because of this one young lady. Yeah, and I don't want to get, you know, and I get it when Angel Reese was like, it ain't just her. No, it's not just her. I get it. Everybody wants to be recognized for what they do, especially if they do it extremely well. But listen, they caught lightning in a bottle with her. Right. And they're taking full advantage of it. That's just how it goes.
I agree.
And I agree. I mean, if that's the course of getting what we've been longing for,
dude, who cares how we get? Listen, if that's how we get there, that's how we get there.
How we get there.
So
Yeah, and really the pressure is on her
Yeah.
to show up and show out, right?
She's been playing well too.
And
Yeah.
so if she doesn't, hey, somebody else will come along maybe and get it. But the good part about it is, I don't know if you guys saw the day when Monica McNote told the truth to Stephen about to Stephen A on the show.
Oh yeah.
What did you think about that? I thought it was great. Go Monica.
Ron, I'm gonna let you start with that one.
Listen, man. We all know what it is at the end of the day, right? We know what it is, and we know kind of what the motivation is behind, like you said, that lightning in a bottle that they caught. So, sometimes you just got to swallow it, and just ride the wave. Everybody wants to be, excited or wants to have an opinion about stuff. So, they're gonna throw shots and things are gonna come out. People's emotions are gonna get involved. Then you're gonna have things like that. So, I just say, man, I think for the women's game over there, they should just be happy that they're where they are, and everybody try to get paid. Period.
Yeah. I think Monica had some very good points.
Y'all still with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fading kind of.
You fading a little bit.
When you move, yeah.
Can y'all hear me?
Outside.
Oh, hold on one second. Hold on, sorry.
But your face is frozen. Well, anyway, to not have dead air while Ron gets his
go ahead.
It was a contentious segment.
Right.
I think both of them, because I think Stephen A. Smith was trying to say, listen, this young lady needs to be protected because she is largely responsible for the trajectory that the WNBA is on.
Right.
And Monica was like, well, no, it wasn't a basketball play, that foul. It wasn't, but it was no more egregious than anybody else's. It just happened to be Caitlin Clark. If we were talking about two other players or another player in general,
wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Wouldn't have been that big of a deal.
Right. Well, and that's what I'm trying to say is that just, everybody's going to have an opinion about this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've seen rookies come into the league and they get hit hard. They come in with all the hype and stuff. That's just a rite of passage that you go through in sports.
Yeah.
And so because it's Caitlin Clark, they're going to make it, elevate the visibility of it. But that's just par for the course, right? You get a hot shot freshman, cats are going to take a shot. You get a rookie pitcher that comes in, supposed to be the good. Somebody's going to try to hit a homer off him. It's just part of the initiation. In
a roundabout way, that's the point that I was making when we were on the show about a month or two ago, when we had that discussion about the Pistons and Michael Jordan and
right.
It's not that the Pistons were, because my contention, and of course I'm willing to admit that there's some Detroit bias in what I'm saying.
Is there really?
Hold up. Time out.
Record that. Get that on record.
We got that on record.
It's on tape.
You heard that out there.
It's on tape. It's on tape. Kick rocks, both of y'all. But I'm willing to admit that there is a tiny bit of Detroit bias when I say this. But it's like, again, I think that we painted this picture as if it was just the bad boys who were so dirty, when the truth is the whole league played that way. It was a league where, like I say, we watched the game when Kurt Rambis got clotheslined by Mikhail. We watched that game. I watched the game when Isaiah Thomas got 20 some odd stitches by Karl Malone. But the fact that it was because they were playing against Michael Jordan is what elevated the visibility of the Pistons. And I'm saying the same thing about Caitlin Clark. If it was two other normal WNBA players and they wouldn't have led off with it on the fact that it was Caitlin Clark is what elevate, and that's to Monica McNutt's point. Let's not overstate this just because it involved Caitlin Clark. This is part of her rookie initiation, like you know, but that's the point that I was making about the Bulls and the Pistons. Let's not elevate it and act like it was just the Pistons, just because it was if the Pistons would have beat Barkley and the Sixers 3 out of 4 years, would we be still talking about it 30 years later? Of course not. It only drew the attention that it drew because it was Michael Jordan.
Well, I think, did you see Bob Costas made a huge statement. He said, well, truth be told, nobody's gonna complain about black on black crime.
No,
Right.
He's right. He's right.
He's right.
She's the great white hope. She's the future. And it's gonna be
nobody said a word. I mean, and it was a clean pick, but nobody said about a word when Breanna Stewart set that screen and knocked Caitlin Clark. Like almost out, but it was clean. And it was Breanna Stewart.
And it was white on white.
Had Asia Wilson did the screen, it would have been another story.
It would have been a problem. So that's it all goes into market. Listen, I get it. I understand why the Pistons were viewed the way they were viewed. It was Jordan.
Even with that though, what the Pistons did too though is they took advantage of the wave.
They fed into
right?
it, yeah.
They fed into it. They had Bad Boys.
They sure did.
Skull and Bones and black shirts and all that. So they took advantage of the situation.
Most definitely.
Even though they were willing to be villain and took advantage of it.
Most definitely. Because we still talking about it 30 years.
Still talking about it.
But again, if it was Reggie Miller and the Pacers,
right, wouldn't have been that big of a deal.
Nobody would care about it.
And think about it. We're talking more about this than the brawl at the Palace, the malice at the Palace.
And I was there that night.
Were you?
Yes, I was.
Oh man, you gotta tell us about that.
I was there. Me and my friend Ronald Phil Ellison. You remember Renee? You know the Ellison family here in Detroit. Yeah. Phil and I went to the game. Matter of fact, we were 2 rows behind the guy that threw the.
So you saw him do it?
I saw the whole thing. We
How
were
you
leaving
feel about it
because the Pistons were losing by like 15 that night, and he and I looked at each other. It's like, man, let's go. So we were walking up the stairs, getting ready to leave the arena when everything broke. If we would have stayed in our seats,
you would have been right there.
Another 2 minutes, you would have been out. You'd have seen both of us right there in the midst of all of that, man.
You would have took a shot at Ron Artest?
Heck no.
You'd have do a jab at Steven Jackson.
Look, 6'8", 270. Heck no, I ain't bothering. But
wow.
I watched the whole thing.
Wow, that's interesting.
I was there.
That's
you
crazy.
know, a lot of people, you know how some people say when something go on years ago, years later, and people say, well, yeah, I was there. And you know, no, I was literally there. He and I were literally there, and we were literally a stone's throw from the guy who threw that cup.
Who threw the beer
right.
or the soda?
Whatever it was. I know we if we would have been there 2 more minutes in our seats, we would have been you would have saw us on camera. We'd have been part of infamy for years and years.
Wow. Interesting.
Wow.
Very
I was there.
interesting. Love that. Love
it was
that.
the craziest thing. I'm watching all of that. It was the craziest thing I ever seen in my life.
That was 2004, right?
2004. Yep.
What did they do with the Palace? It's still open, or they shut it down?
Far as I know they have plans. I haven't been out that way in a while. I don't know. It was such a even 30 because it opened in 1989. Even
89.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And even to this day, it was really a state of the art
Facility, yeah.
facility. It could
Yeah,
rival
I mean,
facilities that are built right now.
was that 30, 34 years?
34 years, and they usually arenas have a lot more longer shelf life than that.
Right.
But I think they caved to the pressure of wanting
downtown
to have everybody downtown.
Yeah. I'm
Little Caesars Arena is
sure there was some,
some incentive as well.
Sure.
And it's a nice arena. They share it with the Red Wings. But I liked the Palace. I thought the Palace it's a little drive. You got to drive out to Auburn Hills. But it was a great arena. I don't know if they've torn it down yet, but I know they have plans to.
Okay. Interesting. Great story. Didn't know that. So you were there at the Palace.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What happens is a lot of time when you play on those streets, the things happen, right? You get that name, right? And people go at you. So you gotta be willing. They just say, my mother used to tell us, if you're gonna dish it out, you gotta be able to take it.
Listen, Ron Artest didn't. He ran up against that guy in the stands, but he didn't want none of Ben Wallace.
Yeah, Ben was down there going crazy.
He didn't want that. He did not want that smoke. He didn't want nothing to do with it. And I just saw a picture of them a couple weeks ago. That they like really good friends now. He and what is he? Meta World Peace now.
Yeah, Meta World Peace.
So apparently they done squashed it.
Meta's good with me for the rest of his days because of that game.
That jumper.
He's good. He's good with me forever now. So
and he passed the ball. That's what he said.
Right. Kobe gave it to him.
He passed the ball.
Kobe was off that night, so he did the right thing. He
was struggling that night. 6 for 24. He was struggling that night. Speaking of, okay, I'm glad this little segue into the Lakers.
This segues into Laker basketball. First of all, let's start with the hiring of JJ Redick. Who wants to take it?
I'm going to take it.
Y'all the two resident Laker fans. I'm gonna let y'all have this one.
Well, ever since LeBron first signed with the Lakers, I've said that, there's a LeBron tax that comes with it. And that tax is basically, you gave up all your young talent to bring them in, and you got AD as part of that thing later on. So you give up a lot of, youthful players that it took a long time for the Lakers to get. So that's one. I believe I sent you guys something last night about all the guys that are in the league and their current impacts, which is true. But I'll never doubt the ability or greatness of LeBron James as a player, and he's elevated himself to the status within the organization that not a lot of players ever reach. Nepotism is something that happens across the league. Different coaches hire their sons and owners put in position.
Part of everyday society.
Yeah, that's just part of it. So he's elevated himself into a position where he has a lot of pull and say so in the organization. It's just a fact. It just is what it is, and there's not really much you can do about it. And it's the evidence of that is JJ Redick getting the job, and also his son getting drafted. He has a podcast with the guy. A lot of people felt like he undermined Darvin Ham by starting a podcast, and then the guy ends up as the coach. I mean, if you look at it just simply, you had Danny Hurley that they were pursuing last month, who's the number one coaching prospect in the world. And then you go from that all the way down to the scale of a guy who's never coached anything above 3rd or 4th grade, right? And there's a lot of in between there. You have your Sam Cassells and a lot of ex-players that have grinded on these NBA benches that would really be knowledgeable, really good coaches. But LeBron's position now within the organization has elevated him to the point where they ignored all of that, went from the top tier guy they were pursuing all the way down to a guy that doesn't have any coaching experience. So if that's not an indication of the pull that he's pulled into the group, then I don't know what is. And then a few days later, they draft his son, who a lot of people say might be a questionable NBA player at some point, or whether he should have been drafted. I'm sure there's guys more talented than Bronny that didn't get drafted. but that's just par for the course, man. So I accept it in that it is what it is, and we'll see how JJ does. If he doesn't, deliver as a coach, LeBron will turn on him too.
That's true. Well, I've got so many thoughts about this. Number one, I mean, they did go after Hurley, but they didn't offer him enough money, so they didn't really want him. But it looks good that they went after. They could say, "Oh, we did go after Hurley. He turned us down," right? Mm-hmm. But money wise, they really didn't offer him probably what he's gonna get now because he had an interview, right?
Right.
And so I think Hurley would have been very interesting. Innovative, young, not a punk, right? And so Hurley might have stepped in and maybe seen how everything was going to say, you know what, I'm out. But so it didn't go that way. Then they get Riddick, never coached basketball, and he's not the first one. So I ain't gonna cry too much about that. He's been in the league. He does know the league. He's been in the league. Is he a puppet? Yes. So and we'll see how it go. Far as drafting Ronnie in the second round, the NBA only has 2 rounds, right? Very seldom are you going to get anybody in the second round that's going to step right in and make a big difference in the first place. Most of your second rounders get those G League contracts, right? In and out of from the big squad to the G League or whatever. I don't know what Ronnie's going to get, but I'm here to say we're always crying about fathers not being around for their children, right? Especially in our Black society, our Black community. Fathers not around, not raising their boys or whatever. So here's LeBron James, one of the greatest basketball players ever. Over the course of 21 years now, we've seen him grow up from 18 to a family man, seeing his child born. Now his child is out there playing, and so I have no problem with that. You want to play with your son? Great. I would give anything in this world to have one more opportunity for Trey to come back to his house of baseball, and we train kids on a daily basis during the summertime, spring and summertime. I would give anything in the world to do that. So I'm not mad there. Because it played out in a public spectrum of LeBron and Bronny, I hope Bronny does well. I'm pushing for him. I have to. He's on the Lakers. Will he get? Do I think he's gonna come in and make a difference for championship? No. Even the first round pick, he's not gonna make that much of a difference pushing towards a championship. You got so many other pieces you have to get. But that's just how this goes. But again, it's the way, right? LeBron, because who it is, and his son. And everybody talking all that. The matter of fact, think about it. The boy had cardiac arrest. They had to resuscitate a person. He was dead. And so for him to come back from what he was at to this level, and folks have something to say about it, I mean, come
on. Well, glad to hear both of your Laker perspectives. From somebody who's not a Laker fan,
but a huge LeBron fan.
I'm definitely a LeBron fan, but I get it. I understand why he did it. What surprises me is not that LeBron wanted this, but what surprises me is that the Lakers went along
with it. Yeah, true.
I'm gonna be honest with you, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, because y'all have a closer view of this franchise than I do. But it seems like he's wielding more power in this organization than Kobe did.
Well, and here's the thing: he's yielding this power with an option to leave.
Yeah, he
So
got.
that tells you how strong and
But
how
he ain't.
fearful
But
they
he
was
ain't.
for him
But he
leaving.
hasn't come. He hasn't come close to accomplishing what that organization, what Kobe did, and
Right.
I'm
Well,
just
again, he's
surprised
the
that Jeannie
well,
Buss
John.
is
Here's the
going
thing.
along with it.
He's the wave of the moment, right? He's the at the time they got him, he was the golden nugget, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they brought into it. They brought into it.
If he leaves that organization with nothing more than that one bubble chip, that's a failure to me.
Yeah, man. We sold our soul for the
Well,
Super Bowl.
and the thing
Yeah.
is, he's been there now 6 years. That's like
Yeah.
6 years already.
This is yeah. If that's all they get out of that is that one bubble championship, then it wasn't worth it to me, especially when you look at what you could have had. Again, I'm gonna always say that the person that I really blame for this is Magic Johnson, because you draft Jason Tatum instead of Lonzo Ball, then you have your young superstar in the making to build around. And Bron is never. I think if you make that move,
He never comes.
never comes to LA.
Right,
I think
right.
I don't know. I don't know about that though, because LeBron at the time was still he was only 33 at the time, and Magic really wanted LeBron, and it was only one shot they was going to get him, right? So I think that he probably, I don't know if Tatum ever.
No way I would have no way I would have traded Tatum to trade him away to get
Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis. No way. No way. And I
Yeah,
understand
again,
hindsight is 2020 vision.
all these things, with Tatum and even all those guys that we gave up, at those points are big what ifs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the draft is. Drafts is what if.
Obviously, I'm speaking hindsight. We know.
Right. We're speaking on what has happened when it comes to which we'll discuss also, because they got a chip now. And so I mean, what can you say? You can't take Tatum has risen to the point, because last year and the year before that, everybody talking about Jaylen Brown and Tatum can't play together. They ought to break them up, right?
Come on, you guys.
They stood the test of time, and now they're champions.
They sitting on top of the NBA right now.
Sitting on top. And
with
so
a very
again,
good chance
my thing, I felt
runs.
this way with the Lakers. Truthfully, as a fan, I'm like, okay, just break this thing up, and you're not winning now anyway. The odds don't look that great for you to win, so you might as well start from scratch. So we'll see what happens.
I'm just surprised that Jeannie Buss, who
go ahead,
was a Kobe, and not that I'm trying to pit Bron against Kobe, because hey, they both play for the same organization, but I didn't see them making the concessions for Kobe like they're doing for LeBron James, and I say that as one of his biggest fans. I make no bones about it, but I think they, and again, I get him wanting to have, if you got the leverage, you use it. That's just the benefit of having leverage.
Again, though, even Kobe, because remember Kobe was crying, I want to be traded, I want to go to Chicago, blah blah, and so they kept him happy. And again, they gave him the big contract at the end once he had a few injuries. So that there's always concessions being made for said people.
Yeah, but nothing like this. Nothing like this.
Well, I think we just get more coverage of what's going on now. Who knows what really?
Perhaps. But I
don't think Jeannie is really thinking about winning. She's thinking about keeping that Laker name prevalent. That's what she's doing.
Yeah, but you're like Ron said, you're mortgaging your future for What does Brian really and the Bronny James pick is really non-consequential. It's a second round pick, so it's not a guaranteed contract. He has to make
Gotta make the squad.
So it's a extremely low risk, potentially high reward pick.
Yeah.
And I did it, and they did it mainly for the publicity. So that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I looked at it like this, man. You know, the game in and of itself and the draft and all that stuff has changed so much. I mean, you had a guy who, you know, the SEC in football and even in basketball is, you know, one of the most prominent conferences in all of college sports. And the guy who was the SEC Player of the Year, you know, had to wait in line to get drafted by the Lakers down the line.
Mm-hmm.
He's 23 years old, and they were like, "Well, we want the teenager."
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Because he's 23, he dropped.
The older you are, it's the worse it is for you.
The harder it is. Yeah,
and
he's only 23.
Right, and you see that, you know, the influx of European players, and then also, you know, what's his name, the kid who went number 2. You know, he went to that OTE here in Atlanta, right? So you have guys coming through overtime elite, and they're coming into the league in so many different ways, creating.
Oh, the Alex Starr guy.
Yeah. Alex, so Starr. So, you know, you have guys with a whole different way and path to the league now. When LeVar Ball was doing it with Melo, everybody kind of scoffed at that. Now guys are coming from Australia, all these other places. So shout out to LeVar Ball for his path.
Again, in LeVar case, he was a loudmouth dad, but he was being a father. Right?
Yeah.
And okay, was he taking advantage somewhat of his kids? Yes, but he was being, at least he's his father. You can't win, right? If you're loudmouth and using your kids for the goal, right? People talk about you that way, right? They talk about you if you're not there for them, right? There's no happy medium, right?
Well, for LeVar, I think it's, you know, hey man, he can laugh all the way to the bank with them guaranteed contracts his sons have. LaMelo's going to sign a max deal with Charlotte. Lonzo got $85 million from the Bulls, so I mean, he can laugh all the way to the bank, and people can have their opinions because everyone's got one. But at the end of the day, he was doing what he had to do for his family. Man.
No question.
Sure.
No question. I think he excuse me. He did what he had to do to get his sons into the league. But I just think people with better basketball knowledge should have been able to recognize some of the crazy stuff that he was saying. To say that he said he's better than Steph Curry right now when he was still in college. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was really putting it out there, boy.
Yeah, he was.
And we're talking prime Steph.
He was. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, that's obvious hyperbole. That's obvious exaggeration. But they bought it. That's my thing. They bought it.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. Well, and you know, we again, you know, everybody talking about all the nepotism, which happens every day. You see it in business.
I don't have.
You see it in John. You see it in church, right?
Every time.
And so, but again, when a black person does it, it becomes a big deal.
I have no problem with it.
Right.
Even with the hiring of JJ
Jerry Jones, top guy next to himself is his son Steven.
Yeah, he's gonna be running things.
If I had an NFL franchise or an NBA franchise, you don't think my son would be right?
Right.
I'm handing the keys to him. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're supposed to do. So I don't blame Brian for doing what he got to do to make sure that his son makes an NBA roster. It's just that I'm surprised that the Lakers went along with it.
Yeah. Well, again, the Laker franchise is a franchise of nepotism.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, since Bus brought it, it's been all the buses been in there.
As it should be. I think that
right.
Yeah.
So don't try, you know. But I'm saying everybody's knocking LeBron.
Hold on 1 second, fellas. My wife is calling me. Hold on. I'm gonna go off camera for 1 second.
But
Yeah,
you
they
know, and
started the
so
music down here at the pool, man.
they you know, the power of it, they knocking LeBron, but he just in the system now. That's all.
I'll give you a shot. I'm down. I made it to the pool and they had the picnic, so they started the music. So I'm gonna have to drop because it's getting a little loud, but you can see.
Nice. How many people out there?
And they had the DJ going, so yeah. But it's nice, man.
Nah, we got rain all day today.
What'd you say, huh?
I said we're having rain all day today. They said.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah,
We had
it's a little
last
chilly.
night, but it doesn't last long. It comes through and it's, you know. But so yeah, I'm gonna bail on the show because that music is loud. I can't hear.
All right.
Hey, love y'all, man. Thank you for everybody joining.
Take it easy.
See y'all next week.
All right. Well, we got Ron dropped out. He's by the pool having a good time. John had to go see what the missus wanted. So I'm left here live. You know, and it's interesting because in society, we talk about different things and what people should do and don't. And when people are trying to live their lives, many people are living their lives in front of cameras. Lord have mercy. So you have no privacy. Everything you do, right? Somebody has a comment on it. And it's got to be tough to live that way, because nobody wants to be downgraded at all, talked about. It's just not part of our human makeup to want people talking about us, especially negatively. And so we just, these things happen. But I think the Lakers will, they'll survive. The Boston will survive. And so it's just interesting how these things go in circle. So LeBron and Bronny, hope it goes well for Bronny. Work hard. Your father works hard. So and I hope he's pushing you hard and you understand that you got to work. You got to work to make it work. You got to put in the work. All right. And so we hope that will be the case. That will be the case. I'm going to sign off. John's not come back on. Ron's gone. So listen, until next time here on Sports Chat, I'm certainly so glad you came in with us for just a little bit this today. We're certainly glad to whoever the JAC is that was on YouTube. We don't use curse words on this show. So I know you're making a point there, but we don't use that type of language on our show. All right. And just want to let you know that. All right, so thanks for tuning in, everybody that's tuned in today. Wherever you are, I didn't see very many comments or names popping up for me. But John, you're back.
We done?
I was getting ready because Ron is by the pool. They started playing music, so he hopped off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was closing it up.
We ain't got.
We're certainly glad to hear from you today. Always love your takes on everything.
I try to keep them fresh.
I think the Lakers will survive.
Yeah, I mean they'll survive.
It'll be interesting.
But you don't want to go through another stretch of years of irrelevancy.
But I think it's gonna happen anyway. It's bound to happen anyway.
If AD would have been the guy, you could have picked. I would have went all out for AD. I would have if the Lakers were smart, they should have did everything they could to pry Kyrie from Dallas.
Yeah.
And you got Kyrie, who's still what, 30? AD.
Yeah, how old is Kyrie? I don't even know.
He's about 30.
And now he's matured too.
Yeah, he's mature.
Yeah.
AD Kyrie combination after LeBron fades off the scene, that's something that you can still build around, I think. But
he's 32.
32. Okay.
Yeah.
That's still not.
And so, but we all know what happens when you hit 32.
Well, yeah, but he's not an above the rim player. You know what I'm saying?
True.
I think he would have a longer shelf life than most guys like Bron. Well, even Bron is defying the odds, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, very, very, very seldom people do what LeBron is doing.
Yeah, that's
level.
That's the extreme exception. It's not the norm at all.
Correct.
But
LeBron's 39. Kyrie Irving is 32. Luka's 25. Steph Curry's 36. Durant is 35. Jason Tatum 26.
That boy would look good in a Laker uniform.
He would look good in that purple and gold. Harden is 34. Here, are you ready for this one? Oh, are you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
Anthony Edwards,
22 years. Oh my. Oh my God.
But listen, no. We're saying, oh my God, for Anthony Edwards, 22, and Dalton Connect, SEC Player of the Year, 23.
Ain't that something?
Him, isn't that amazing?
Ain't that something? What is that kid gonna look like when he's 25, 26?
26, 27, 28.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
When is his contract up?
Man, you talking about that boy is this good at 22?
Talk about looking good in purple and gold.
Yeah, he better get out of Minnesota because that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Listen, two places you go to die in the NBA: Minnesota, Charlotte.
Oh God, Charlotte. Yeah, Melo need to get out of Charlotte.
Need to get out of Charlotte.
Edward.
Well, and all the leagues want what's the word they call it? Parity, right? And that's fine.
But I don't know if that's good though. I mean,
I never said it was good. But that's what they say they want, right? Because they have so many small market teams, and they want. But who, hey, I wasn't complaining every year when it was Boston and LA.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that you don't have a villain to focus on. Now you don't have
and then Detroit, which is small market, they came along and threw an egg into the happenings of the Lakers, and they broke up the monotony. Right?
Sure did.
Houston had their little run in there too.
Milwaukee is a small market.
Milwaukee, small market. And so it's been proven that small markets can win.
San Antonio, Texas.
San Antonio.
Not Houston,
not Houston, not Dallas.
Not Dallas. San Antonio. Come on.
Yeah. And Dallas isn't really a huge market.
Yeah, Houston is the
bigger market
city in the country.
Yeah. Well, Dallas is known for two reasons, right? The Cowboys and JR.
Who shot JR?
And right, not who shot JFK.
Who shot JR? That's right.
Right. And so look at that. The television used that to the fullest, right?
Yeah, of
the
course.
The show was called Dallas. JR gets shot, right? Who shot JR on Dallas? Isn't that just amazing? I don't know who the writer and producer was, but boy, they hit that one. Man.
It was brilliant. That was brilliant.
I'm telling you, from May to September, I was dying.
That was brilliant.
That was awesome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I couldn't believe anyway the fact that you allow your president to ride in
open
convertible.
Open convertible.
Correct. Come on, people. In the 60s?
That was crazy.
That's just crazy. That's just crazy. Yeah, just crazy. And so again, all the conspiracy theories are left open because of craziness like that.
Of course.
Can you imagine? Who was it? Was it Jimmy Carter and Clinton, who started that walking during the presidential?
Yeah.
Could you imagine if something happened?
Yeah.
But no, I don't know if you ever saw one. It was Egypt. It was their presidential inauguration when the guy shot on the dais.
I remember.
Oh, it was on.
Well, I remember when Sadat.
Yeah, that was Egypt.
Anwar Sadat. Okay.
Yeah, that was Anwar Sadat. Remember, they fired on the presidential dais.
Crazy.
Unbelievable to me.
Yeah, that's the world we live in, brother.
And again, you get that right person on the inside, right?
Who can you trust? Who can you trust?
Not the who can you trust message.
Who can you trust?
Listen, people, I have to tell this story now when it comes to that who can you trust, because as you know, John is a evangelist, very well, great speaker, been all international, and so he was here in Little Albany, New York,
Albany,
running the revival for us, and he preached a message that Sunday night. Who can you trust, right? And so, me always being a big sports fan, and the '80s in my youthfulness, young adult age, I videotape everything, sport, my kids.
Here he go.
Everything. And so after, I told, while John's at my house, he stayed at my house. He has free reign, help yourself to the food, video, whatever you want to do, make stuff at home. So a few months later, I'm looking for a certain tape. I had a college basketball tape on the first portion of the VHS.
God.
Second portion had Pistons against the Lakers. Probably
you can find it all on YouTube now.
Yeah, true. And so I'm like, well, who got my tape? Where's my tape? I'm tearing the house up, right? So I go, let me call John. So I call John. I go, John, you got my tape? He goes, yeah. So I go, John, who can you trust? Oh, so fun,
man.
So,
I had a good time. Look, I had your Seton Hall, Michigan championship.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, that was Terry Mills and them.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And,
Rubeal
Robinson.
Glenn
Wright. Oh, that was a good squad.
Man, that was
for that other school in Michigan. That was a good squad. That was a national championship squad right there.
And we were
and probably the only banner that's hanging, right?
That's the only basketball national.
Yeah. Wow.
We went back twice. Well, we went back 4 times since then. 90, obviously the Fab Five.
Right.
Went twice, didn't win.
Right.
John Beeler took us in 2013 when we lost to Louisville.
Right.
And then 5 years later when we got blew out by Villanova. So
yeah. But that squad, they came through.
Yeah, but nobody was beating Villanova that year. That was they were like the Golden State Warriors of college basketball.
Yeah, they had a good run.
Yeah, that was
good run. They took Carolina out at the buzzer.
I'm a rep, baby.
Where's your new hat?
I got it upstairs. I got it.
Got it upstairs tucked away.
Yeah.
You waiting for September to crack it out.
I'm waiting for dun, 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 dun. Let's go blue. Can't wait, man.
Real soon.
Can't wait. We here. We in the home stretch, baby.
The home stretch. Think talking about pumpkin, turning back into a pumpkin. Man, the Yankees, man. Oh,
Man, dude.
they lost 9 out of 11.
I was
Well,
about to say,
now it's 10 out of 12.
I
But,
was
man,
watching them the other night. They couldn't get. I'm like,
I mean, their pitching has disappeared all of a sudden.
Yeah, they gave up 9 runs.
They've been giving up average of like 7 runs the last 11 games.
Yeah, I say yikes.
So you get, and here's the danger of it too. Garrett Cole comes back, but this is like spring training for him. So you can't have him in spring training in real games. That ain't gonna work. He gave up 4 home runs yesterday against the Mets. The Mets. Come on. And the Mets were doing terrible until they had Grimace. McDonald's Grimace threw out the first pitch, and they've been on a roll ever since. This stuff is so hilarious to me.
Listen.
But you know, it's enjoyable, right? Things happen.
Absolutely.
You have to laugh about them, right? All right. Well, till next time, people. Next Saturday, join us back here again on Sports Chat. We'll probably be on a little regular. You know, we have a couple Saturdays that we missed, but not as much. Little League is over with. We never know when we have, you know, things happen in our other things we do in life, you know, but we enjoy coming on for this hour Sports Chat. John, have a good one, man. Talk to you later.
Peace. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so